This video will show you how to create your own search engine using Google Custom Search. Now, what I mean by your own search engine is that you can make your own search engine that searches only websites that you want it to search. This can be particularly helpful for those of you working with younger students. As we've seen previously, there's a lot of information on Google. But you can choose to make a search engine that only searches 5 or 10 websites, and those websites can be the ones that you deem appropriate for your students. So what you want to do is go to Google Custom Search and you want to log in. Oops. Now when I log in, I've already used this service in the past, so I have a search engine here. But when you log in, it will be blank. And what you want to do is click on New Search Engine. Now the first thing it's going to ask you for are the websites that you want this search engine to search. So before you even think about creating one of these, you have to do the research and find the websites that you want this to search. So what I've done is I designed an idea that what if I was working with younger students and I want them to do some research in the news, I would want them to search some specific news sites that are designed for kids. So I've already identified 5 different websites that I want this search engine to search. So what I'm going to do now is copy and paste the URL from those 5 websites. So here's Time for Kids, so I'm just going to copy that and paste it right here. Now you can see when I pasted it, another bar appears right below it. That's where I add more URLs. So I'm just going to go to these websites and paste the URLs right in. Now these are just my examples of websites to use if I'm doing a search with kids news. This is just my example. You do not have to do this search engine. You can make whatever search engine you would like, but you have to identify different websites like I did that you would use in the search. So I've identified these 5 websites as good websites that I would want my students to do research on if they're researching the news. So instead of telling my students that they can look at these 5 websites, if I post them here, I can create one search engine that searches all 5 of them at once. So paste in your websites and then scroll down, and the next thing it wants to know is the language, and the default is English, so you only need to change that if you'd like the default to be something else. And then it asks for the name of your search engine, and it automatically started to name mine Time for Kids. And the reason it did that is because the first URL I pasted in was Time for Kids. But I don't want it to be called that, so I'm just going to click on Change the Name. So let's call it Kids News Search. So after you name it, you can then click on Create. My search engine has now been created. Now, to get the search engine to someone, there's a couple different ways to do that. So first of all, you can view the search engine on the web, and there's a public URL to it. So you can just give someone the URL to your search engine. So let me show you what that looks like. I'm going to click on Public URL. Now here is my kids news search, and the URL that's up here in the address bar, that's what I could give someone. I could send that to someone in an email, I could post that link on a teacher website, and the students would get to this page, and this is the search engine they would use. Now let's quick do a search and see what we can find here. So let's search for the Mars rover. My results appear in the center of the page here, and if we look through results, you can see that all of these results are coming from the websites that I designated. So I designated Time for Kids, the BBC News Round, that's BBC's website for children. So you can see all of these links are from the websites that I want. There's no other website appearing here because I didn't say any other website could be included. I only wanted the ones that I added. Now you can also click on the next pages. You can see there's more pages of results. And so the further on we'd get, we'd notice results from more websites besides just these two, because I did put 5 websites in the search. So this is what it would look like if students did the search. So it looks very similar to what Google looks like. So this is similar to what they have seen before, but it's only searching your websites. So I'm going to close this out and go back to Google Custom Search. So that was the public URL. You can just get that URL and send this to anyone. But there's another thing you can do. You can get the HTML code. Now, HTML is the code that is used to design websites. And if you have a teacher page, you can actually embed a tiny little search engine onto your teacher page. But to do that, you have to have the HTML code. So I'm going to click on Get Code. And if you're not familiar with HTML, this might look very foreign to you. But if you did want to embed this on a teacher page, you should be able to ask an IT professional in your school or the media specialist and get help doing this. I'm going to just quick show you how to do this when it comes to the MilliWiki. I'll just show you how I would put it in the MilliWiki so you can kind of see what it would look like if you did it. So what I'm going to do is copy the script. And then I'm going to go to the MilliWiki. So here's the September page in the wiki. So if I wanted to put this in here, I'm just going to click on the Edit button. And then let's say I want it at the top of the page. Oops. So I'm going to write down where my search is going to be. My search will come right below that. Here I would click on Insert and then HTML. When you're embedding something in a page, you want to look for something that says HTML or source, and that should allow you to embed the HTML code. But again, ask for help doing this if this is very foreign to you. I'm just going to click on that, paste in my code, allow JavaScript, and click Next, and then Insert Plugin. Now it doesn't look like a search engine now, but when I click the Save button, you'll see what it would look like. So there is my little search bar. So I wrote some text above it and then I put the search right here. So you could do this on a teacher page and send the students to the page where they could use the search engine that's here. So this is what it would look like if you had something like this. Now, again, if you don't have a teacher page, if there's no place for you to embed this, don't worry. On the Google Custom Search page, on that congratulations page after you make one, that's where you get the URL. So there is the URL option to give someone a link to the search engine. Now the last thing I want to just show you on here is when you log into Google Custom Search from now on, after you've made a search engine, your search engines appear on the home page. If you want to delete them, you can just check this box and click the delete button. But if you want to edit them, you can just click on the title and it will bring you to this page where you can edit it. You can change the name, you can give it a description, and if you keep scrolling down, it's where you can see all the websites that are in your search engine, and you can delete certain ones or you can add new ones. So this is Google Custom Search. Why don't you think of a search engine that you might want to use in your classroom and identify some websites and try to make one. It might not work for every one of you, but it could be a useful tool for maybe one of your assignments. So check out Google Custom Search.